Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 17 has now opened the door for a new development with the awakened Shinju that needs to be taken a lot more seriously by the fandom. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explain video where we're going to take a look at how the chakra affecting the Shinju's thoughts, like we see with Matsuri, is directly rooted in their thorn soul bulbs, and why there's a very strong possibility that the changes that the Shinju are going through right now ultimately could lead to Hidari pulling in Itachi and turning on the Shinju. And most importantly, I did some digging and I found some Shinto stories that I really strongly believe mirror what we have going on now. Also, the chapter review should be up on the channel by the time you guys are seeing this. The review should have gone up 2 days after the official. So check out the review that my editor finished up if you haven't already, because a lot of love went into that edit and we took a lot of time with the script itself, and I really think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Now, just to be clear, this is something that, hey, we have been calling here on the channel ever since Chapter 5 of 2 Blue Vortex, where we said specifically that Hidari as well as Matsuri, there were two characters who you really needed to keep your eyes on in terms of their characters changing up. And it's because of the fact that chakra contains memories, and the bonds that each has with Sarada and Konohamaru respectively might come back into play at some point. Sasuke's memories as a father, and potentially Moegi having unrealized feelings for Konohamaru. And lo and behold, we got additional information in this chapter, in chapter 17, that is now adding steam to this whole idea. Moegi was revealed to have unrealized feelings for Konohamaru, and it has led to Matsuri getting all weak in the knees when she's around Konohamaru, and she's blushing and she's unable to look him directly in the eyes, thinking about taking some certain positions from Konohamaru, and Konohamaru's thinking about shoving that Rasengan into her back while in said position. Where that particular plot line goes, that remains to be seen, given the twist of Konohamaru being ordered to play with Matsuri's feelings and kill her when she least expects it. However, the reborn Hidari, that's the one that has my interest, and I want to take this new information and I want to further build on what we have in the past, because I believe it opens the door for a mega plot twist. And to further drive that point home, again, I have Shinto and I have folklore stories that directly back this up, because there are a lot of parallels to them. So for this, we have to establish a few things to go over. The refresher in the way that chakra affects the awakened Shinju, how that goes back to Naruto's manga, why Hidari's birth has affected all of this even further in terms of his interest in Sarada being heightened now, and the Shinto background that parallels Sarada and Hidari's situation, and how this ultimately leads to Hidari being the new Itachi that is undermining all the efforts of Jura in the future before Sasuke gets unsealed. Finally, we have to look at how this second awakening of the Shinju via the chakra of their original vessel that they were made from directly links back to Buddhism, and how chakra is used in Buddhism itself. Starting with chakra containing memories and how that links to Buddhism, we're going to combine those two elements. So with the Boruto and Naruto context, it is canonically established that chakra can contain impressions or memories of a source. A prime example is how Naruto could sense Kurama's emotions and thoughts while they were linked, and most importantly, Naruto is able to share his deepest thoughts and feelings and memories of people during the war when the Shinobi Alliance had his chakra. Hagoromo Tsuki, his chakra allowed him to communicate with Naruto and Sasuke 1,000 years after his death. Similarly, chakra left behind by Minato Namikaze and Naruto's 8 trigram seal retain aspects of Minato's consciousness that allowed him to speak with Naruto. The Ten Tails and its clones by extension of the Shinju tree, which is deeply rooted in the concept of absorbing chakra from living beings, in particular those beings who they are used to create the awakened Shinju. The tree, therefore, may not only be just absorbing chakra, but also the memories and will that is attached to it. The will is a very important thing to keep in mind. These Ten Tails clones are made directly from the chakra of the people who they have bidden. In this case, Hidari from Sasuke's chakra, and Sasuke's chakra contains within it a deep urge to protect Sarada and a deep loyalty to Konoha. Parts of that have not awoken yet, but they will eventually. This aligns with the precedent that is set with shinobi like Hagoromo when they transfer chakra. It contains imprints of their will or identity, which could apply to Sasuke since his chakra was used to create Hidari. in terms of the Buddhism connection, since so much of Naruto and Boruto draws from Shintoism and Buddhism, it's a concept of the storehouse consciousness that you see in Buddhism. So let's look at the Buddhism context. So the concept of the storehouse consciousness in Buddhism strikes a bearing resemblance here. It suggests that all actions, thoughts, and experiences, they leave seeds behind in the subconscious mind, which influence future actions and decisions. Chakra could be seen as an extension of this concept, as it carries not only physical energy, but also impressions of the person who produced it. Or as Naruto's manga will tell you, that is the yin chakra, because yin chakra is imagination, yin chakra is your spirit, yin chakra is your emotions, yin chakra is your heart, that's your soul. In this way, chakra from Sasuke, it is a part of Hidari. The seeds, which ultimately is Hidari's thorn soul bulb within it, would not only transfer raw energy, but also emotions, memories, and experiences, allowing for those karmic seeds to sprout within Hidari's mind over time, which is what is leading to Hidari and others to seek out people strongly connected to their original to consume. Allow me to cook a little further. So let's take it here and look at Hidari's connection to Sasuke and Sarada and the Shinto and Japanese folklore that all this is used to parallel towards, and explain how this is potentially setting the stage for Hidari to go the opposite route of Matsuri, who appears to be set for an even bigger turn into a monster when her love for Konohamaru eventually leads to her getting betrayed. With Hidari, we're going to see a different kind of love take root, because whereas romantic love, it is fleeting and it is very conditional, which is the driving emotion for Matsuri. The only love that is unconditional is the love of a parent. When you're in love with a individual, it's always conditional. Whereas that child, that's unconditional love. You're gonna love them no matter what. And that's what Sasuke's chakra is eventually gonna break through and show that parental love there. With him having already encountered Sarada and trying to kill her, and he's inquiring about the Sharingan, the only thing left now is for him to continue to grow, and growth leads to questioning, and we saw signs as far back as chapter 5 that Hidari was trending in that direction of questioning his existence, because Jura was giving Hidari a side eye because he was asking questions and not blindly following. And then all of a sudden, Hidari suddenly pulled back. All of these shinju, they are on a path towards enlightenment, because Hidari, he appears to have grown slower than the others have mentally, or you run the possibility, which is where I'm leaning, that just like Itachi, he's putting on an act, and he is playing up some of the other possibilities of his personality in order to not draw attention to himself. The same way that Itachi was over the top cruel to Sasuke, you could have a situation where Hidari is playing up other parts of his personality because he knows he's being watched. However, let's go deeper again. So we'll play devil's advocate. The Naruto and Boruto context. Hidari's made from Sasuke's chakra, so he would have fragments of Sasuke's storehouse memories. These fragments could include Sasuke's protective love for Sarada, his regrets, and his unspoken desires as a father. Given that chakra contains these impressions, and since the Ten Tails derived entities, much like the Biju themselves, have displayed elements of individuality, it is very plausible that Hidari could experience moments of self-doubt or internal conflict. Sasuke's final thoughts before being defeated by Code, they might be very crucial here. If Sasuke's last thoughts are focused on protecting Sarada, that emotional imprint would be fresh and could manifest inside of Hidari's psyche. If Hidari sees Sarada in person, these subconscious impressions during their rematch, it could activate a fatherly instinct or hesitation in attacking her, much like how we saw Obito hesitated when he was remembered of Rin. It was only fleeting, but it was enough to cause brief hesitation in some of his actions. I don't think we get to a point where Hidari just goes, "Oh my God, you're Sarada," but I do think that we get to a moment where he pauses. Maybe it's not in the initial rematch, maybe it's a few rematches down the line, but there's going to be a moment where that humanity creeps in. This is where we get to a very important aspect of Shinto and folklore parallel, and they do come into play because, again, Naruto and Boruto, as franchises, they have drawn very heavy inspirations from them before. So a Shinto related story that fits into this scenario is the tale of Omoikane. It's a kami of wisdom and cleverness. Omoikane is said to possess the ability to reflect on past knowledge to make wise decisions. If Hidari's memories from Sasuke were reflected from within him, this would be similar to Amoikane's role in recalling wisdom from past due influence in order to, from the past, to influence present actions. Hidari's opponent is Sarada, who possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan, which reflects the heart of the user, and Sarada's awakening the Mangekyo played a massive role in Sasuke originally helping Boruto escape execution. It's a potential full circle moment. Additionally, the concept of divided spirits, that is very relevant here. So in Shinto, a person's spirit can be divided in certain aspects like compassion, anger, wisdom. They can be stored in sacred objects or places. Sasuke's fatherly love could be seen as a divided spirit imprinted in Hidari's consciousness, echoing Sasuke's affection for Sarada, the same way that Moegi's deeply rooted romantic feelings for Konohamaru are coming out into Matsuri currently. The Shinju are working through their stages of humanity at differing rates, especially since we have to open up this possibility, being the case given what we have now, that this is also going to happen with Hidari in the future, or even potentially right now, because he's been reborn. So in theory, those feelings and emotions should be heightened. This brings us to the potential betrayal of Hidari against Jura and the symbolism behind it, which, you guessed it, there's a connection to Shinto, and in particular, this one goes back to a very iconic story that has been associated with Sasuke and Itachi and Orochimaru that was directly used as a part of that entire plot line between the three of them, and it's a follow-up to a story that was used to give us Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan awakening. So here's the reason for the potential betrayal of Jura by Hidari that Jura will not see coming, or maybe he does see it coming. So the Naruto Boruto context is this: Jura, as the leader of the Shinju, he embodies the collective will of the Ten Tails. He is the Ten Tails itself, prioritizing survival, propagation, and overall dominance. He wants to harvest the entire planet, all life force on the planet. However, if Hidari possesses the residual will and the memories of Sasuke, this could create a schism in his loyalty. The Naruto series often explores the idea of a will being stronger than mere biology or program. For example, Kurama, he was stated originally to be this force of destruction when we first meet him. Obviously, we know Kurama's a big softie, but just work with me for a second. But he was changed by Naruto's kindness and his emotional resonance over time. If Hidari inherits Sasuke's love for Sarada, even if it's just fragments, he could have a Naruto versus Kurama style internal struggle, not in the literal sense and that they're throwing hands at each other like the way Naruto and Kurama was, where Naruto pulled up like, yo, what's up, B? And he pulls out the big Rasengan and he starts blowing it all over Kurama's face. But in a spiritual sense, this is the case because Uchiha, they are strongly imbued with Yin chakra, which is spiritual, whereas Naruto was strongly imbued with Yang chakra, which is physical. Hence, you had a physical battle with Naruto and Kurama inside of a mental plane against Kurama. As for the betrayal aspect, this could be a parallel to two moments from Naruto. One moment where Obito Uchiha, who was under Madara's influence, he chose to betray him, and after regaining his self due to Naruto's words, and when Obito eventually regained his control over the Ten Tails, when he was being mentally torn apart before he stabilized the Ten Tails' power, the same thing really applies here. If Hidari's internal fatherly memories of Sarada awaken because of Sasuke's chakra, he would choose her over Jura, which very closely mirrors Obito's shift of allegiance and overcoming the mental war that is taking place inside of him. So now we get into the Shinto and folklore parallel even further here, because this is the Itachi, Sasuke, and Orochimaru portion. So a key Shinto story that is very similar to this whole situation. It's the themes of the story of Susanoo no Mikoto, the storm god who initially acted as a destructive force, but he later redeemed himself in some of the stories. So Susanoo's journey from chaos to protector, it is resonating very loosely with Hidari, originally a force of the Ten Tails, shifting his allegiance seemingly over time to protect Sarada because of Sasuke's influence, Sasuke being someone who has Susanoo. Let's go even further. like Susanoo, Hidari could be tamed by familial love and by duty. So when you get to Orochi no Orochi, the 8-headed serpent that was slain by Susanoo, that also connects. As you saw with Itachi and Orochimaru and Sasuke, Orochimaru was an 8-headed snake. It's the Tosca blade, which is a sword that you associate with Susanoo. Orochimaru had the Kusanagi blade, and you had Susanoo, who was protecting a young child, the same way that Itachi was protecting Sasuke during this time. So when you look at this actual story, Orochi, he devours maidens until Susanoo intervenes. If Jura represents that serpent, if you will, that consumes others because he is a Ten-Tails trying to devour the planet, and Sarada represents the maiden in peril, since in that story, the maiden in particular was a daughter of a young couple, then Hidari's role would echo Susanoo's role as being a redeemed protector who turns against the larger destructive force, i.e. Jura, to protect Sarada. You just swap out the fact that Susanoo ended up marrying that young maiden. Obviously, Hidari's not going to marry Sarada, but that's the father-daughter relationship, so it's an easy switch. The same way that Itachi and Sasuke, they just switched it from future lover protecting future wife to brother protecting younger brother. So Susanoo in that same Kashinda Hime story ends up saving the daughter of that couple that was destined to be eaten. Right now, you have Sasuke who's been eaten, and Sakura eventually would be eaten if the Otsutsuki get their hands on Boruto and Kawaki. So that also goes back to the last thoughts of Sasuke that would eventually break through on Hidari. Sasuke went down fighting Code, thinking about his daughter. Those memories are eventually going to serve as a type of chakra transfer awakening, since Sasuke's chakra is powering Hidari. Buddhist philosophy suggests that the karmic seeds most recently planted are the strongest influencers of future rebirths. If Sasuke's most intense karmic seed is to protect Sarada, then it would be from one of the first seeds that sprout in Hidari's consciousness. Again, the Thorn Soul bulbs. The Thorn Soul bulb is produced from the seed that is made out of Sasuke's chakra, when you really think about it, and the bulb eventually blossoms into what we know is the being Hidari. It's for that reason you cannot rule out the Itachi angle. And let's take it a step further. This could manifest moments of hesitation, flashes of imagery related to Sarada due to chakra containing memories, or outright defiance against Jura's orders, and Hidari doesn't understand why he's defying it. Just as Obito would see flashes of Ren that haunted him, Hidari might see flashes of Sarada causing him pain and causing him to resist or to pause when it comes to Jura's directives. It's going to be very interesting to see how this whole human element with the shinju that they're playing with really plays out. But to learn more about how Jura is undergoing his own change, you really want to click here on this video on the right for this Jura video essay, or you want to click here on the left to watch the new Boruto chapter review if you have not watched that already.